What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And whenever a new Magic the Gathering set comes out, I like to unbox some of the boxes that I'm going to be playing with live on YouTube and live on Twitch. Now, I'm going to unbox one box for you today here on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it. If you want to see the other unboxings, I'm going to link to my Twitch channel in the box below. It'll give you an incentive to check it out on Twitch. I'll link directly to the video on Twitch, and while you're there, maybe you'll give me a follow. This box that we're opening today is sponsored by Magic the Gathering headquarters here on YouTube. And if you check the description box down below, you're going to see a link to MTG headquarters. They make Magic the Gathering content. They do unboxings. They do all kinds of crazy stuff. So if you like Magic the Gathering content, please check them out. If you do so, you'll be supporting us and give me a reason to make sure that I keep doing these unboxings for you here on YouTube and Twitch as well. Without any further ado, let's get into the box. Now, Fate Reforged is a pretty interesting set, and I got to admit that I'm really enjoying the cards that I've already gotten out from the pre-release. I like this set a lot better than I liked Cons, and if you saw my previous unboxings, you'll know that I did not like Cons very much. I was frustrated with Cons as a rule. It was just not a set that I particularly enjoyed. I don't like three colors that much. This set has a lot more two-color stuff, so it's going to be a set that I think I'm going to value a lot more, and a lot of one-color stuff, obviously, and I really value those cards a little more. Let's start right down the middle. I'm not going to go down any particular row here, so I'm going to make it difficult for you to box map if you want to do that. Again, if this is your very first unboxing, we'll talk about everything you get in a booster pack. In one of these boxes, you get 36 total packs. You're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 commons. You're going to get 1, 2, 3 uncommons. You're guaranteed a rare. And in this case, this is a rare I've pulled like 9 of already. So I guess I'm going to keep pulling it. Shamanic Revelation. 5 casting cost sorcery. Draw a card for each creature you control. Ferocious. Gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. So you could gain a buttload of life, and you're definitely going to draw at least a couple cards off this. I don't know if this has a place in Standard. I know it's got a place in EDH. It's going to have a place in a lot of different places. Might have a place in Standard. It's pushed enough to where it needs to be tested. So, I'm not really sure. But you're also going to get, in general, a basic land in most sets. In this set, you are guaranteed to get either a fetch land, which is very valuable, or one of these common dual lands, which are still pretty valuable. And you'll often get a rules card or a token. We are only going to focus on the rares. So I'm not worried about anything else. I'm worried about the rares. I'm worried about value. By opening 3 boxes, we're going to get plenty of each common, the majority of most uncommons. That's not the issue. The issue is what rares and what mythic rares we get. So we'll start at the back. We got a token. We have a non-basic but common land. Here is our rare. Tassiger, the Golden Fang. 6 casting cost, 4/5. But it has Delve, so you could play this for as little as 1 black mana if you have cards in your graveyard to remove. He has the ability of 2 and 2 more mana, which either has to be green or blue. It's a green or blue hybrid there. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then return a non-land card of an opponent's choice from the graveyard to your hand. Now, that doesn't sound that great because you're going to get the worst possible card out of your library or out of your graveyard. The truth of the matter is, if you're running a lot of Delve creatures, you're going to be able to pick and choose. Again, not a particularly great value, but not a bad value. I think he might see standard play, but he's most likely going to be a very good commander instead. Uncommons, commons. I like that they gave eye candy for the ladies there, too. Or for the men who like that kind of thing. Basic. Common land. Here's a guy that's kind of interesting. I think he's not very pushed. 5 mana for a 3/3. But you can dash him for red, and 2. So that might be enough. We might have enough stuff in the 4 slot in standard, though, but we'll have to see. Whenever this attacks, put a token onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that's a copy of another target attacking creature. Exile the token at the end of combat. So you have to have another guy, but if you have another guy, this guy's going to copy it, and you're going to do a bunch of damage. is especially powerful with the dash ability. In fact, I think he's better with the dash ability than ever actually playing him. Might see home in some sort of red deck. We'll have to see. Basic. We got our first Mythic of the box. Not the best Mythic, but not bad either. 5 casting cost, 3/5 flying. Whenever Torrent Elemental attacks, tap all creatures the defending player controls. And for 3, and plus 2 mana that has to be either black or green, put Torrent Elemental from exile onto the battlefield tapped. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. I don't really know where this belongs. Again, could be interesting in Commander, but I really don't know where this guy belongs. 5 cast cost 3/5 is not that pushed. So, I don't know. I think he might be one of the more disappointing Mythics from the set, but certainly not the worst. I think he'll find a home. He's an interesting finisher for Control if we start getting in a lot of exile effects in the set. Now this set, Fate Reforged, is all about dragons. We went back in time to find the dragons. So of course there's a cycle of dragons that are 2 colors in the set, as well as many dragons that are not 2 colors. Dramaka the Eternal, 5 casting cost 5/5, flying whenever whenever a dragon you control attacks 2, bolster 2, and bolstering is putting that number of counters on the creature you control with the lowest toughness. So in this case, you're going to put 2 counters on your tiniest guy. Bomb Unlimited. Pushed at 5 casting cost 5/5 flyer. I think this guy could be a thing. I'm going to say there's probably about a 50-50 chance this guy's going to be a thing. So we'll find out. We'll find out what the current standard looks like. How many packs are in each box, says somebody in Twitch? And the answer is 36. Next up, Archfiend of Depravity. 5 casting cost 5/4 flyer. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures he or she controls, then sacrifices the rest. That's good. That's really good. A 5 casting cost 5/4. This thing, I think, is going to be a thing. This guy is definitely going to be in some sort of control deck running black. I mean, letting him keep 2 creatures is still pretty damaging, but I'm telling you, he's good. He's just straight up good. I don't know if he's valuable, but he is good. I like that guy. Now, I'm probably misvaluing that because somebody's telling me he's worth 94 cents. He might not be that great, but I think he's good. Time will tell. There's our first foil of the box. We got an Abzan Sky Captain, and I'm just showing you the foiling really there. Bird, soldier, flying, bolster 2 when it dies. Interesting card. Here's a rare Palace Siege. The Siege cycle allows you to make a choice either cons or dragons, which side you want to fight for. When this comes to the battlefield, you either choose cons or dragons. If you choose cons, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. That's a very powerful effect. If you choose dragons, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. That's also a very powerful effect. I believe this card has got a decent shot of seeing some real play. Both of those effects are very, very valuable. So, we'll have to see. I do like that card, though, a lot. I like the entire Siege cycle. I think the blue is the most powerful, but I think it's very good. Next up. One of my favorite cards of the set. An absurdly good card. Green. Warden of the First Tree. Green for a 1/1, but with 2 mana, one of which has to be black or white. Warden of the First Tree becomes a human warrior with basic power and toughness 3/3. For 4 mana, 2 of which has to be black or white. If it's a tree warrior, it becomes a human spirit warrior with trample and lifelink. And then finally, for 6 mana, if a Warden of the First Tree is a spirit, put 5 +1/+1 counters on it. And there's no limitations. You can do that as many times as you want. That's crazy. You can make one fat Warden, man. Even fatter than me. One of the best Mythics. One of my favorite cards to play with. I can't wait to play with it. Very exciting. Here's a green-red dragon from the cycle. 7 casting cost, 6/4, flying trample. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until the end of turn. Well, that's 12 damage there. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. A little expensive. I don't expect a 6/4 for 7 mana to see standard play, but he's interesting. All right, here's our first foil rare from the box. Probably our only foil rare from the box. Archbond, 3 mana. Choose target creature. Whenever that creature is dealt damage this turn, it deals that much damage to each other creature and each player. Very beautiful foiling. Again, this reeks of EDH trickeries. I'm not sure where else it'll see play. Now here's the card I'm very excited to play with. Alesha, who smiles at death. 3 casting cost, 3/2 legendary creature with first strike, and when it attacks, you may pay 2 mana that has to be black or white. If you do, return target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Whoa. That's some powerful stuff right there. I like that card. Black-red is a thing now, I hope. We'll have to see. Very powerful. My kind of card right there. One of the things I like about Fate Reforged is it's got a lot of dudes that do stuff. Supplant Form. 6 casting cost, instant. Return target creature to his owner's hand. You put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of that creature. So 6 mana control magic, kind of? I mean, that's powerful. It's a limited bomb. Just destroys things unlimited. Probably not standard worthy. But very powerful. Next up, Mob Rule. 6 casting cost, sorcery, choose 1. Gain control of all creatures with power 4 or greater until it'll turn. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until the end of turn. Or you can gain control of all creatures with power 3 or less. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until the end of turn. One way or the other, if you're playing multiplayer, you're probably going to win. Or at least several people are going to die. Powerful card. Not something I'm going to see in standard, I don't think. But very powerful nonetheless. Rally the Ancestors. This is a card that has given me pause. And I'll explain why. For 2 white and an X, return each creature with converted mana cost, X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. But you must exile those creatures at the beginning of your next upkeep. Exile, Rally the Ancestors. So if you have a bunch of haste dudes, they can attack. If you're on the defensive, you can play this to pop a bunch of dudes out that have come into play effects. And you can then block with them. It's such a... It does a lot of stuff. Not a lot of great stuff. But if you set it up right, it's insane. Again, I don't really know. Difficult card to evaluate. Really depends on the tools you have to play with in that environment. Here's another foil. Wandering Champion. 2 casting cost, 3/1. Whenever Wandering Champion deals combat damage to a player, if you control a blue or red permanent, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Human Monk. Temur War Shaman. 6 casting cost, 4/5. Whenever Temur War Shaman enters the battlefield, manifest the top card of your library. Okay, that's pretty good. So now you're looking at 6/7 worth of power and toughness for 6 mana. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, you may have it fight target creature you don't control. Interesting ability. Very interesting ability. Basic. Mastery of the Unseen. 2 casting cost, enchantment. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, You gain 1 life for each creature you control, and for 4 mana you can manifest the top card of your library. I mean, pretty good if you're playing around it. You got life advantage, you got card advantage built into that card. It takes a lot of mana to get it going, though. Could be a one-of in a control-style build, if you wanted it to. Another card I really like, Shu Yin, the Silent Tempest. Not the most powerful of the cycle, but 3 mana for 3/2. Has prowess, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 2 mana, either of which has to be red or white. If you do, control target creature. If you do, target creature gains double strike until the end of turn. Yep, that's pretty swell. I can get into double strike. I don't know that there'll ever be a blue-white or blue-red aggro deck in Standard, but if there is, you're looking at the ringleader. Another basic. Here's the blue-white dragon. 7 casting cost, 5/6 flying vigilance. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, tap target non-land permanent an opponent controls. That permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Interesting. I mean, you can freeze down stuff. This could be a pretty solid finisher in a standard deck that has blue and white in it. I don't know that it will be, but it could be. So worth keeping an eye out for. Probably not. My favorite siege, even though I don't really play much blue. Monastery Siege. As Monastery Siege enters the battlefield, choose Khans or Dragons. If you choose Khans at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, then discard a card. If you choose Dragons, spells your opponent cast that target you or a permanent you control cost 2 more. Good stuff. Good stuff. Here's the black-blue dragon. I guess we're going to get every dragon out of this box. Silumgar, the Drifting Death. 6 casting cost, 3/7. Now, let's talk about that power and toughness for a second. When you see a 6 casting cost, 3/7, you think to yourself, that's not very good. But he has flying and hexproof. That's a very powerful ability. We harken back to Simic Sky Swallower, and we know we're talking about a card that can really be a solid finisher. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, creature's defending player gets -1/-1 until the end of turn. So that is pretty powerful. Again, he's all right. I like this set because not everything is pushed. Like, there's not obviously great cards and obviously bad cards. There's a lot of cards that need testing, and that excites me about this set. I guess it's true for the entire Khans block, but we'll see. Did get a foil swamp. Pretty. Dragon Scale General, 4 casting cost 2/3, but at the beginning of your end step, bolster X, where X is the number of tapped creatures you control. I mean, this is solid and limited. I don't really like it anywhere else. So, don't expect that card to do much of anything. Another very powerful dude. Mardas Strike Leader, 3 casting cost, 3/2. Whenever Mardas Strike Leader attacks, put a 2/1 Black Warrior creature token onto the battlefield. He also has the dash ability for 4. Just all around a very good card. I like everything this guy does. 3 casting cost, 3/2. Makes other dudes. Has dash. It's just solid. I like this guy. Terrible card art, somebody says in chat. I think it's okay. Dagatar, the Adamani, and Gagapin, the Adamamanton. 4 casting cost, Vigilant, 0/0. But it comes into play with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. And for 3 mana, you can move a +1/+1 counter from target creature onto a second target creature. Okay, now here's some things to talk about here. Number 1, it's a 4 casting cost 4/4 Vigilant. That's neat. It has the ability to move counters around, and it doesn't have to be move a +1/+1 counter from target creature onto a second target creature. Could be your opponent's tokens that you're moving. That's neat. That's neat. Good old, I really like Adamana. Again, don't expect to see much play, if any. But I do like to pronounce his name. Adamamanamanamini. Adamamantamatamanaman. Amdadamaldimidan. Here's a foil. Winds of Qualsisma. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Ferocious if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Instead, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by this turn by creatures your opponents control. Can be a blowout and limited for sure. Can be a blowout almost anywhere, honestly. Cool foiling. I like the mists and the shiny stuff in the mist. That's cool. Here's a card that's not very valuable and not particularly great, but some people are going to go crazy for. Your Inner Vorthos is going to go nuts. Crucible, the Spirit Dragon. You can tap it at 1 mana to your mana pool. You can spend 1 to put a storage counter on it, 1 and tap. Or you can tap it to remove X storage counters to add mana of any color to your mana pool, any combination of colors, to play a dragon. But it can only be used to play or activate a dragon. Interesting. Might be in some sort of crazy dragon deck that you're playing for EDH or elsewhere. Who knows? Who knows? There's Archbond once again. Since we've already seen it, we will not talk more about it. I'm just letting you know what we got out of the pack. Ah! Finally! We got a fetch. We got a fetch. We got a fetch. It's Flooded Strand, too. Excellent. Thank you for the free fetch. I mean, I paid for the box, but still. Thank you for the free fetch. Jeskai Infiltrator, 3 casting cost 2/3. Can't be blocked as long as you control no other creatures. And when it deals combat damage to a player, exile it and the top card of your library in a face-down pile. Shuffle that pile, then manifest those cards. So this guy goes into hiding when he bites. And you get a free 2/2 out of it. That's cool. That guy's cool. I don't know that he's great or good, but he sure is cool. That's an interesting ability. Woo! There he is, ladies and gentlemen. There's the Spirit Dragon of your dreams. Yeah. 8 casting cost, 7 loyalty, Planeswalker. +2, he deals 3 damage to target creature or player. That's Ghostfire, baby. -X, exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less. That's 1 or more colors. I mean, this is a great control card because he's going to hit the board and wipe your opponent's crap just right off there. And his -10, which only takes 2 turns after he comes into play, you gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, then put up to 7 permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Neat. Yeah, way to go, Eugene. Way to be awesome, Eugene. We got them dollar bills right there. Next up, a foil plains. Meh. Scroll of the Masters, 2 casting cost. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a lore counter on this. 3 and tap. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each lore counter on Scroll of the Masters. Well, I don't know what this card is for, why it is, but I mean, it's neat, I guess. It's an interesting finisher and I don't know, really. Don't really know. Well, here's another Mythic. The Brutal Horde Chief. World of Warcraft much? 4 casting costs 3/3. So it's a hill giant. Whenever a creature you control attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Alright, well that's powerful. For 5 mana, 2 of which must be red or white, creatures your opponents control block this turn if able, and you choose how those creatures block. It's an interesting card. That card is brutal. That card is brutal. Boop. Oh my cards are getting everywhere. Jeez. Normally I can do this after 1 box, but I've not been that careful today in stacking, so my apologies. We have to take a moment to do that. Next up, you have the Sunstepped Mastodon. 7 casting cost, 5/5 reach, and when it enters the battlefield, bolster 5. So if he's your only dude, you got a 10/10. But if you have another dude to carry those tokens that's smaller than this, he's going to just wreck stuff all day. Powerful card. Powerful, powerful, powerful card. Too expensive for what it does, but cool. The Red Siege, Outpost Siege, 4 mana. If you choose cons at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card, so there's card advantage. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, Outpost Siege deals 1 damage to target creature or player. I don't really know where this belongs. I'm not sure that it does. But it's a card that I'm interested to see if it performs. Here's another of my favorite cards. As you can tell, I just like dudes. 3 casting cost, 4/2 trample at the beginning of your combat. On your turn, you may pay 1, and 2 of which must be either red or blue. Probably red, just to make that very clear. If you do, gain control of target creature an opponent controls, which with power less than this, and untap that creature, and it gains haste until end of turn. Wow. I mean, I can't even. That card is so good. I love that card. Again, that's my kind of card right there. I like it. Hey, we're down to the last 5 packs here. And then we'll have to open the rest. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see the rest of these boxes, I'm going to link to the Twitch VOD. And you can watch this over again if you want, or skip ahead to the other 2 boxes. Another great card for me. Flamewake Phoenix. 3 casting cost, 2/2 flying haste. That double red means a lot. It might be what we need to get started back towards getting mono red devotion back. Flamewalker Phoenix attacks each turn if able. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may pay red. If you do, return Flamewalker Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. 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 I like that card. To the battlefield. Good thing there's like the 3 casting cost 4/2, or the 4 casting cost 4/2. There's a lot of 4 power guys. Woo! Double fetch box. I'm getting more fetches out of this this box than I got from some of my cons boxes. Man, thank you, Wizards. This is a good freaking box. Thank you to my sponsor, MTG Headquarters, because this is a good freaking box. Citadel Siege. Very powerful siege. Possibly the most powerful, but I think the blue is pretty damn good too. 4 casting cost, enters the battlefield, choose cons or dragons. Cons at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Or dragons, at the beginning of combat on each opponent's turn, tap target creature that player controls. Very powerful ability. 2 powerful abilities. You get several of them out and you're rocking. They're not legendary. You can do what you want. I wonder if there's going to be a siege deck. Just you can siege for days. Like everything in it is a siege. Everything's under siege. Once again, we have the green-white dragon. Dromakaw the Eternal. Nice to see you back, my friend. I'd rather completed this cycle than get a repeat, but that's okay. So I'm going to get one. May as well get my favorite dragon. Which dragon are we missing? That's a good question. Frontier Siege. The other siege. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you choose cons, add green to your mana pool at the beginning of your main phase. Whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, you may have it fight target creature you don't control if you choose dragons. I have a feeling you're going to choose cons a lot with that card. But some sorely needed ramp in this current environment. And finally, the last pack needs to be punished. We'll punish this pack, we'll punish it bad. Bad old pack, you stupid pack. Put it down the front of my pants. Put the card down the front of my pants. Bad old bad. Bad old pack. You're a dirty old pack. Stupid pack. Stupid pack. The last pack is always bad. Let's see if that rule holds up once again today. We have a spirit. We have a regular land. Ooh, we do have a foil out of it. Will of the Naga. I love this art. 6 casting cost, delve, tap 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap. No, this is not a great card. But Curse of Fate, Crux of Fate. Wonderful card. Wonderful card. 5 mana, sorcery, choose one. Destroy all dragons or destroy all non-dragons. Either way, you're going to like it. If they got a couple dragons out, you're going to kill the big-ass dragons. If they got some tiny-ass dragons, tiny-ass non-dragons, you're going to wipe the board, leave your dragon alive. Not the best art. I don't really understand what's going on in that art. Maybe if I understood it better, I would. But just a great card. I guess he's killing all the non-dragons. Or maybe that's the dragons dying. I can't tell. I'm blind. But a card that I expect to define the current standard environment quite a bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is box 1. If you want to see the other 2 boxes, all you got to do is click on the link below to Twitch TV to see a link directly to the video on demand of this stream. Alternatively, while you're there, please do me a favor, click on the link and visit my wonderful sponsor, MTG Headquarters, who always sponsors my Magic the Gathering unboxings. Give him a thank you. Tell him Boogie sent you. If you enjoy his Magic content, please give him a subscribe. He does make good content, I promise you. There are a lot of great Magic the Gathering creators here on YouTuber, Headquarters being one of the best. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. And I'll speak with you soon. Click on those links. Go check out more stuff. You'll be glad you did. Or maybe you won't. Maybe when you click on them, that'll be the moment you have a heart attack. Do you dare? Boo!